So this is a video lecture series of embedded system subject. We are going to discuss about memory and types in embedded systems. We are now doing the module 3 of embedded systems. So if you are seeing EC Electronics channel for the first time, please do subscribe to the channel for recruitment updates and subject videos. And also, if you want the notes of these videos, please do subscribe to the Telegram channel and follow us on our Instagram page. Okay. So we are going to discuss the basic memory and the memory types that we generally use in embedded systems. So the memory is actually a storage device that is used in the system for storing of data and instruction. We know that memory is used for storing of data and instruction. And mainly, if you classify the memory as two types, you can classify it as read-only memory and random access memory. So read-only memory means it can be only read. Mostly we will be storing the ROM image or the final executable code of the system program and everything onto the ROM memory, and the data and the frequently accessed or modified data will be stored in the RAM, that is in the random access memory. So that is the general way of storage. Now let us see the classification of RAM and ROM. First, let us see the ROM. So ROM starts for read-only memory. Okay, and this memory is used where we want to store the program. It is a space where we store the program, and it can only be read, but we cannot write to it. This memory is also non-volatile. Once we have written to it, it always stays there. So the embedded system has ROM units for storing of ROM image. So we have discussed about ROM image concept in the software video. There is embedded system software video. So in order to store the ROM image or the final executable code of the embedded system, we can use the ROM. And also we can use the flash memory for storing of some of the non-volatile data. So anyway, if you are using ROM, the data will be intact. It will be non-volatile. So the ROM image, what all things it holds is the programs, the operating system code, and the data required to run the system. The system related data and code will be stored in the ROM area. Now, classification of ROM is, first one, MROM, that is masked ROM. So the masked ROM is actually the data is being entered, or the instructions are being burned to this memory while the fabrication process itself. So once we are buying this device, or once we are fabricating this device, we cannot modify anything on that memory. Okay, so that type of ROM is called masked ROM. So the very first ROM is a hardwired device. So that is actually containing some pre-programmed set of data and instructions, and this programming is actually happening when this memory chip is being manufactured or during the fabrication. So it is actually an expensive one, and it is used for large scale manufacturing. So once this IC is, or when this memory is manufactured, we cannot do any modifications to this memory. That is the masked ROM. Okay. Now, how can we make use of these memory in embedded systems is, when consider that you have designed an embedded system, it is the program and everything we have designed, and the final ROM image, final executable code is ready with us. So in that case, if there is no further modification, we can burn the final ROM image to this MROM. Otherwise, if we have to make some further modifications, we cannot go for MROM, because once this IC is fabricated, once this memory is fabricated, you cannot do any changes. Okay. So data, pictograms, image pixels, pixels for the font of language. Okay. So you can you can store all these datas, all these items can be stored into the MROM. Next time is PROM, that is one-time programmable ROM, or you can say it as OTP, one-time programmable. So PROM means you can buy this memory, and once you can program this memory. Okay. Even after the PROM is manufactured or fabricated, you can once program this memory, but once programmed, you cannot make any further modifications. So that is PROM. Now, how we can, that is what are the uses is, smart card identification number and personal information. So when you're using a smart card or an ATM card, once you can do some modifications like changing of the PIN and all, after that you cannot go for any further changes. Then storing of boot programs, ATM card and credit card or identity card, these are generally PROMs. Okay, that is programmable ROM or one-time programmable ROM. Next, EEPROM, that is erasable and programmable ROM. Now this type of EEPROM or this type of memory can be erased and programmed. That is, it is UV erasable and electrically programmable by the device programmer. So you cannot do any programmatic changes, but electrical programming and UV erasing can be done. That is EEPROM, erasable and programmable. Erasing is done with the help of UV. Now why I am saying is because in some question papers I have seen, that is in competitive examinations I have seen this question, what rays is used for erasing of this EEPROM? It is UV rays. Okay. Next is EEPROM, that is electrically erasable and programmable ROM. So here it is EE, okay, not EP, it is EEPROM. I have written it correctly here. Electrically erasable and programmable ROM. So the previous one, EEPROM, is actually UV erasable. Here it is electrically erasable. So that is the difference. EEPROM is programmed and erased electrically. It can be erased and reprogrammed about 10,000 times. Many times we can erase it and reprogram it using electrical methods. Okay. So EEPROM, any location can be selectively erased and programmed. So it can be erased one byte at a time rather than erasing the entire chip. One byte at a time can be erased. So even though these type of memories can be erased and programmed, there is some limitations. We can only erase one byte at a time, or there are certain steps you have to follow. Hence, the process of reprogramming is flexible but slow. Since only one byte can be erased at a time, it is a slow process. Now, the uses is storing of current date and time in a machine, storing of port status, storing of driving malfunctioning and failure history in automobiles. See, these type of areas or these areas we can use EEPROM, electrically erasable and programmable ROM. Next one is flash memory. Flash memory is actually a form of EEPROM itself, in which a sector of bytes can be erased in a flash. So here the erasing is done one byte at a time, right? But here it is more bulk. You can actually erase a sector of bytes in a flash. That is, very quickly we can erase. So it is used for storing of pictures and digital camera. We can erase this memory, right? So storing of pictures and digital camera, storing of SMS, MMS in mobile phone, storing of voice compressed form in a voice recorder. These are certain areas where we use flash memory. So flash memory is actually very commonly used type of memory in storing of instructions mainly. Okay. Next is RAM. So next category of memory is RAM, that is random access memory. So here we can both read and write this memory. It is used for holding of programs, operating system data, and data required by the computer system. In embedded systems, it holds mainly stack and temporary variables of program, operating system, and data. So for storing of temporary data and commonly used type of data, very frequently used type of data, we can go for RAM. So this memory has to be frequently read and write. Okay. So RAM is generally volatile. Means the data, it won't last for lifelong. It is volatile. Used for saving of variables, stack, process, control blocks, input buffer, output buffer, decompressed format of program, data of ROM image. This type of temporary data you can store onto the RAM. Next, let us see the classification of RAM. SRAM, that is static RAM. Now, the main difference of static and dynamic RAM is actually in the structure. Okay, so static RAM is actually using of transistors as storage elements, and it is most commonly used for designing of cache memory. Okay, now dynamic RAM, they generally use capacitors as storage elements, and it is commonly used in high performance computers or high memory density systems. Okay, now mainly it differs in the storage elements. Next one, extended data out RAM, that is EDO. EDO is used in systems with clock rate up to 100 megahertz. Zero wait state is needed between two fetches. Then single cycle read or write is possible. So in a single cycle, the read operation or the write operation is completely done. Okay. So that is again another classification of RAM, extended data out RAM. Next type, synchronous DRAM. Synchronous DRAM, it synchronizes the read operation and keep next word ready while previous one is being fetched. Okay. So it is more in a synchronous way. This data reading and writing is happening in a synchronous way. When one reading is happening, the other data is kept ready. Now, SDRAM is used in systems with clock rate up to 1 gigahertz. So that is another classification of DRAM, actually, synchronous DRAM. Next, rambus DRAM. So in RDRAM, the access in burst or 4 successive words in a single fetch. So here more bulk data is accessed. So here this memories mainly differs in the either the size of data fetching or the mode of operation or mode of reading and writing and all. Okay. Here used for 1 gigahertz plus performance. The last one is parameterized distributed RAM. So parameterized distributed RAM is a RAM which distributes in various system subunits. So this RAM is actually seen as in a distributed form. So the memory is actually getting distributed along various subunits. IO units and transceiver subunits can have a slice of RAM. So along with every subunit or peripheral units or IO units, there will be a portion of memory or RAM. Okay. So in that way, the memory will be distributed. So that's all about the RAM. We have actually seen the classification of memory. That is mainly it can be classified as RAM and ROM. Again, we have seen the sub-classifications also. We have discussed about a bit of everything. So if you're preparing for any competitive examinations or your semester examinations, at least you should be knowing this much things about the memories that we use in embedded systems. Okay. So next we'll be uploading the video of memory mapping, and then we'll be doing various videos like DMA and all. So likewise, we'll be uploading all videos on the embedded system subject. So if you're interested in watching those videos, please do stay tuned to the channel. So that's it. Thanks for watching and keep on watching.